the Emma Watson interview on the Jay Shetty podcast. Fascinating to basically talk about the symptom that you just said. I mean, she's kind, she's gracious. I appreciate the way in which she carries herself. She's not super combative in any way. But as she's speaking, I'm like, oh, she is such a representative of our culture right now on how she's talking about marriage, how she's talking about divorce, how she's talking about individualism, how she's talking about dreams and passions. And she's going on these riffs of, I think her exact line was, you know, the pressure that we are feeling to marry in culture, which, by the way, I disagree with that fundamentally. I think there's always been way more pressure to get married. Like we're the most, I think the pressure is the lowest it has ever been.
Yes.
And she said, and her exact words were, the pressure to get married is violence and cruelty. Like it was very harsh language about how significant she was kind of saying, we need to put our guards up and make sure we individuate, we self-actualize, and don't allow that to push over the pressure of marriage and kind of like stampede ourselves. And that's really problematic because I think I would argue actually the opposite, that you become, in some degree, unless you have the singleness calling, you become the best version of yourself when you get married. And so that's a fundamental disagreement of how culture sees marriage and family right now, is they actually see it as a hindrance rather than the best version of yourself. I think as I was researching this, there was a really interesting sociology and research that actually has a name for that, and it's called, I believe, the Michelangelo phenomenon. And essentially what it is the belief that when you get married, you sculpt each other into the best version of yourself. And I just love that language and that framing of that actually there's research to back up that one of the most dominant ways you can become the best version of yourself, which is actually a pursuit of the culture right now, but it's misguided with where they put it, is to get married and have kids. Yes. And so that's what we actually say. It's the opposite. We say that's one of the worst versions of yourself. And so I just found that really interesting as like a cultural tell on one of the biggest podcasts in the world with one of the biggest celebrities in the world, kind of saying like, hey, marriage is problematic. I needed to individuate. She didn't say it was problematic now. It was a classic, like, I needed to find myself. I needed to individuate. I needed to actualize for 20 years beyond a normal marrying years to do that.